Every survivor is different and will want a different outcome in the aftermath of an act or repeated acts of violence. In New Jersey, we are committed to providing survivors with a range of affirming resources to support them in safety planning and on their healing journey. The Victims Assistance and Survivor Protection Act, also known as VASPA, provides opportunities for survivors of sexual assault and victims of stalking and cyber harassment to apply for a protective order against the person who caused them harm, without reporting to law enforcement or filing criminal charges. For a variety of reasons, many survivors may choose not to pursue criminal charges. For some, a protective order can provide safety by preventing contact with the person who caused harm without requiring a report to law enforcement. Others may seek a protective order while pursuing criminal charges. Every survivor's situation is different, and the decision to request a protective order is a personal choice only the survivor can make. So, what is a civil protective order? A civil protective order issued under VASPA is a court order that aims to protect a survivor from the person who caused them harm. A protective order prohibits the person who caused harm from having any further contact with the survivor. A protective order can be a way to shield survivors from further actions of sexual violence. It can protect them from seeing the person who caused harm by preventing that person from entering specific places the survivor or their household members frequent, such as the workplace, home, or school. It can protect them from future contact with the person who caused harm, whether through oral, written, or electronic communication, either directly from the perpetrator or through a third party. It can protect them from stalking behaviors, including patterns of repeated and unwanted attention or contact. It can even protect them from harassment, including online harassment of the survivor. If requested, it can include the survivor's family members, friends, or their employer or employees as protected parties under the protective order. A protective order can protect survivors from any other concerns that the court deems appropriate. Applying for a protective order. Who can apply for a protective order under VASPA? Generally, survivors of sexual violence who are subjected to continued harassing behaviors from their abuser and do not qualify for a domestic violence restraining order can apply for a protective order. Victims of stalking and cyber harassment can also apply for a protective order under VASPA. A survivor can apply for a protective order regardless of whether they reported the incidents to law enforcement. The parent or guardian of a survivor can apply on behalf of the survivor if the survivor is under 18 or has a developmental disability. A protective order can only be issued against the person who caused them harm if that person is at least 18 years old or an emancipated minor. How to apply for a protective order. A survivor or parent or guardian of a survivor seeking a protective order under VASPA may file in family court Monday through Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m., excluding holidays. Survivors can choose to file for a protective order in the county in which they reside, in the county where the offense occurred, or in the county where the person who caused harm resides. Survivors can also access an application online and submit it through the Judiciary Electronic Document Submission. While a lawyer is not necessary to seek a protective order, it may be helpful to speak to one or to contact a local sexual violence program to obtain free information on legal rights and referrals from a trained advocate. An advocate cannot provide legal advice, but they can guide the survivor through the protective order process and offer helpful resources for other needs they may have. Steps in applying for a protective order. Obtaining a protective order is a two-step process. First, The survivor must apply for a temporary protective order, or TPO, in family court. The TPO is the initial order that protects the survivor from the person who caused them harm and remains in place until the second step of the process. The second step requires a hearing to determine whether a final protective order, or FPO, will be granted. At this hearing, a judge will decide whether to grant the final protective order or dismiss the case. This typically happens within 10 days of the order being issued. Not every case will meet the requirements for a final protective order, but advocates are available to discuss options if the final order is denied. If granted, the final protective order will clearly outline the specific prohibited behaviors and other relief ordered by the court. It will be forwarded to the police departments where both the survivor and the perpetrator live, and the perpetrator's access to the survivor will be restricted. Final protective orders do not expire and are valid anywhere in New Jersey, the U.S., and U.S. territories. Although a protective order is not a guarantee of safety, it can be one tool used in a comprehensive plan to increase survivor safety in the aftermath of sexual violence, stalking, and cyber harassment. Trained advocates at New Jersey's local sexual violence programs can offer comprehensive safety planning, provide resources, counseling, referrals, and support with navigating the legal system. Call the 24-hour statewide hotline at 1-800-601-7200 or go to njcasa.org/findhelp for information about your local sexual violence program and available resources. Learn more about VASPA at njcasa.org/VASPA.